Hello, everyone, and welcome to Asian Viewpoints with Mary Sitt. Music theory was never so much fun as when Julie Andrews and the Sound of Music taught her young charges, do, a deer, a female deer, ray, a drop of golden sun. And just like that, those young kids knew the tones and sounds of the scale. Our guest today is Dr. Stephen Yip. He teaches music theory and composition at Houston Community College. He's also a freelance, award-winning composer whose music has been performed around the world. Dr. Yip holds a doctorate from Rice University in Musical Arts, and he's also the recipient of a prestigious MacDowell Fellowship. Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Yip.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much for having me here. Yeah.
So as a music lecturer, what do you try to instill in your students? What do you teach them about music composition?
Well, actually, I think music composition, music theory, and musical art, even though another kind of language we call musical language, is a very good things for human being. As talking about the culture, our society is like a bridge, like bridges to everywhere. Yeah. So, well, when I teach music, I would say I will teach music in the more like in the artistic way, or as a language through this to introduce myself and communicate to my students. When we think about the music, it's more like a natural things. When you see musicians, whatever they are genius composers, or Mozart, let's take Mozart for example. When he perform music, he might don't need to study too much. It just really think about it's like an instant from himself. He just performed at his 5 years old, 4 years old, something in public in a professional way. So
okay, wait a minute. Mozart was a genius, though. He was a child prodigy, right?
Right.
Your students at HCC and most of us are not really that at all. We have to learn structure and theory, is that right? And rules of the game.
This is the thing that I want to point out. So when we want to learn composition and music theory, sometimes there's two flow, and then maybe we will say people just compose something music without learning anything. But another thing is maybe we should know something first, and then as I mentioned, a bridge to connecting to the musical art, and then or about the more behind that. So that's why when we have the do re mi, we call solfege. It's one of the system. This system can be able to connecting. How do we learn the melody, or we call harmony, which is a linear approach to hear a musical lines, many musical lines. How do we use it as a language? So that's why studying music, I would say if you don't have any approach or methodologies to students, it might be able to just not easy to find out what the mean of this. So, however, if the students can just really be able to dig out from their heart, they just express from themselves, then just using some kind of tricks and this kind of things, and they will be able to help as a tools, and then they will be just kind of think about, it's easy to get that if I know this, then we'll be able to express themselves easily in a more appropriate rate.
So what inspires you when you write your music?
Well, when I compose music, pretty much almost everything, yeah. But I would say since I'm a kind of I was born and grew up in Hong Kong. It was I mentioned about I was born in 1971, so by that time it was a British colony, yeah. And then but after 1997 it returned back to China. But I left Hong Kong in 1995. And then but by that time I still feel the Hong Kong has a pretty much a great British style or British influence. Well, however, after I moved to United States, I went to Rice University to study my master and doctoral program, and then my graduate school. And I kind of refresh or recall my cultural background, my root. So my root is more like as an Asian. So, however, I have been very interested in all kind of Asian culture, such as more like an original idea from Japanese aesthetics, thought, and also some Oriental Chinese poems, and then all kinds of architects and some things. And then Those kind of things all influence me a lot.
So when you're composing music, you're not necessarily you don't necessarily have a melody in your head. It's really sort of atonal,
Yeah.
and you're creating sounds of nature. Is that right?
Correct. Well, not necessary, because whatever, we still have a few we call pitch things, but the pitch is not the number one elements.
So do you think audiences need to be sort of educated on how to listen to modern music?
Oh, such a very good question. Yeah. So because we have been discussing this for years since I was a student, back to 90s, and then a teacher talking about this, because by that time we were learning atonal music. Atonal music is very complicated. When you're looking at the piece, so many notes, and there's many notes, and it's very difficult to understand. So that's why this is such a great question. So, well, the question is yes or no. Let's say no first. No is better for everyone. But this is really true, because for me, of course, I'm a musician, and also I'm pretty much consider myself as an artist. However, I'm not a real painter. I'm not a painter, and I'm not really such a really professional another kind of an artist. But I prefer to go to museum, contemporary museum, to view and to see all the artwork. Yes or no, some of the impressionism or expressionism, I know those. I know those kind of artwork, but I don't have a very strong background. So maybe I will understand, or I might not fully understand what the artists want to approach us. However, I really enjoy it. But, and also I will just try to see for my aspect. So which means I will just appreciate, and just by looking at it. So on the other hand, if you go to just walk into a concert hall, or nowadays, we don't really perform music in concert hall in anywhere. It's more like the new trend. Maybe in the art museum or somewhere on the street, even in the shopping center too.
Shopping center,
restaurants. I mean, now we perform everything, airport as well. So when you go to listen to we call contemporary music, whatever, maybe if you say you understand or you don't understand, which means you have expectation. You may be expecting something sounds like Mozart, sounds like Beethoven, sounds like Bach, because you have some already in your head. Those are your education, and then maybe passed due to the elementary school, high school, whatever. But nowadays, I want to say is if you just try to see, I'm not you, just all the audience, just try to see if you're not bringing your educational background, nothing about thing, just without considering any background, just listen to it. Just as I say, when I go to a museum, I just looking at it, just look at it, just listen to it. Whatever you hear the sound, this, that, just try to see what is your imagination and what do you feel, what do you think about it. Then because you don't have to consider, a Bach, Beethoven, they have died almost 300 years already. So and then the musical art is always keeping up. So and then when you're looking at Monet's work, and then you cannot compare to like a long time ago Botticelli, whatever. You cannot compare to like 100 years ago artists. They have perform and present different way. So that's why this is about the same thing. And then because music is very interesting. When you hear something, it sounds something. If you have expectation, you will be comparing. And then that's why we will say, I understand or I do not understand.
Let's take a pause now. Listen to one of your pieces you composed. It's called Elegance and Emptiness, featuring a harp and a flute. Okay, so when I hear that music, it evokes in me a meditative mood and sort of a soulful mood. When you create the music, do you try to evoke a certain mood in your listener?
I really want to create a certain mood or atmosphere and provide to the audience. So, however, and then about the content, it's going to be very, very open to listener to choose what they want to listen. So, however, those works, and then I try to create, I collect some kind of we call maybe musical vocabularies, like all kind of sound resources, and then they all are coming from nature, on nature. So and then of course, and then a technical approach, and then there's some kind of harmonics or overtones I create is going to be part of the origin of the sound. Yeah, so like the different parcel, and then when you hear the harp, they bow the strings, and then we might know because this is about our expectation and our thing. We just expecting harp supposed to be plucked string instruments,
Right.
but when we bow it. Well, actually, we can go back to the medieval time. There's some kind of we call the harp. The old great grandfather of the harp, they used the bow actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
When I saw that, I was going, "Oh my goodness, she's using a bow, like a violin bow, to play the harp." I had never seen that before.
And about the flute as well, and then the originality of the flute is a recorder, even older than recorder. And then those kind of nature things, and then I really want to capture to integrate together, and then will coming from this kind of sound work. So this is also my approach. I really want to present this to audience, and also I want to express this as for myself as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Yip.
Thank you, Marianne.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button below and be sure to subscribe. We drop a new video every Thursday. I'm Mary Sitt. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.